Hey party people, I'm Captain Zeus and welcome back to BP Fun. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review over episode 8 of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 2. Now this is the season finale, so spoiler warning for those of you that have not seen the episode. I will be going into some details about it. And if you guys like the reviews, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to be notified when we post more videos, and let's go ahead and get into this. Starting things off, this episode gave me a better start than like pretty much every episode in the series so far. We see, before even the title sequence, we see King DURIN bust down the walls like Chris Jericho into this vast open area in just awe. And that's when the Balrog, I can't remember how to pronounce it, the Balrog I'm gonna say, pops up. And oh my gosh, this thing looked great, but I can't overstate the fact that the visuals in this series is just top notch. It looks fantastic, at least in this season specifically. But ending the beginning segment, King DURIN has such a badass moment of just jumping to fight the Balrog and like the clash of his axe against, I didn't know the Balrog had a sword. That's crazy. What is the Balrog? Can someone explain that to me in the comments? Thank you. But dude, it was just such a cool sequence in slow-mo, and then as the clash hit and the rocks fell, we jump into the title sequence. I'm like, dude, you got me so hyped. Like, now I'm really hyped up for the rest of this episode. And my hype gets killed pretty quickly, to be honest. We jump over to Gandalf's story and the Harfoot, and I'm super confused because Gandalf is just walking into the Harfoot home. Someone refresh my memory. Last time we saw Gandalf, he was out just in the forest, like he was about to go and search for his staff, and that's the last we saw of him. I didn't know he was actually going to go and search for, I thought we were just going to leave it off where he's like having to handle that dilemma. He's just jumping right into the Harfoot wannabe group's home, and then the Dark Wizard is there. What the frick? When did he get there? Why is he there? And I feel like I missed like a whole episode of stuff. He's trying to deceive him pretty obviously, and it's like so cringe, the type of way he does it, because he's like, my friend, and also he's over here talking about how they've known each other for a long time. They're the reason he convinced them to come over to this land or whatever. And I'm like, this is the first time I'm ever hearing of this. Is this even true? Because this is like so out of nowhere. Like, what the frick? And then he saves the Harfoots get, they're released, and the Dark Wizard's like, oh, if you're gonna join me one way or another. I'm just so confused because the Dark Wizard, via like the trailers and everything for the show when it was first coming out, it seemed like he was gonna be a huge like secondary villain throughout the series, or at least this season. And we've barely had anything to do with him in this whole season. This episode, we've seen more of him than the entire season. So I'm so confused on what the point of him being here is, or at least in this season, because they honestly could have just done without the whole Harfoot storyline. Like, I was fine with Gandalf going on the journey to figure out like who he was and get his staff and all that stuff, but it seemed like his story stopped and all it did was just focus on the Harfoot story, which was not interesting in any way, shape, or form. Then we just are left there for like 3 episodes. It was like such a buzzkill. I was kind of bummed out when the Dark Wizard like drops all the rocks down and kills a couple of the Harfoot wannabes, and Gandalf saves them, right? But I was really hoping that he wouldn't save them, right? I thought that would have been cool if he doesn't save them this time, and it like puts him on the path of focusing on, hey, I need to focus on getting strong, or at least finding out who I am and going back on the path of being a wizard and all that stuff. I don't know. Granted, this is just me. This is not anything against the Tolkien lore or anything, but like for me, I feel like those things have more impact than just saving the friend and everything's fine, because I feel like that doesn't change anything. There's no improvement or development from there. He saves the Harfoots and everyone, and they all leave, and the Harfoots leave, and he goes with Tom, and that was fine. It is what it is. And he reveals his name. Gandalf reveals his name, and it's like, oh, I kind of figured that out in season 1, but oh, for those who had no idea who he was. And there was a lot of moments in this season, or at least in this episode specifically, where it was like, dude, this is obviously where it's gonna go. This is obvious who this is. Like, unless you've never seen the Lord of the Rings movies or even read the books, like, it's almost like like these kind of sequences are for people that have never seen anything Lord of the Rings related until this show. So it was weird. Like, I was like, this is kind of obvious. Also, can I go back to the fact that Tom keeps telling Gandalf, or kept telling him, that his destiny is to fight and defeat not only the Dark Wizard, but Sauron. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he doesn't fight Sauron, nor has he fought him, or even defeats him, or comes in contact with him. Like, I know he knows who he is, and he knows how strong he is, but I don't recall him ever, like, being there to fight him. So was Tom saying that just as a lie to just get him, like Gandalf said, to choose friendship over power? Is that what the point of that was? Or does he actually fight him? Like, I don't know. It didn't make sense. I was racking my brain around it throughout the whole season, but I was hoping we were going to get more clarification, and then we got none. Just none. So there's that. We see more of Numenor, which I'm still completely disinterested in. The king basically turns the faithful into traitors, which that's just classic bad guy tactic. I mean, that's basically it. That's like all that we see of Numenor in this episode, other than the king's son going to where Theo lives and is trying to erect a tower. What tower are they erecting? Someone remind me, because I feel like this is a tower for Sauron. It's weird. Also, I hate this show. I don't really hate the show. I hate the show for what they're doing. They keep making cheating seem to be a viable option. Isildur knew this lady had a fiance. I think in everyone's mindset, you don't get romantically involved with someone in a relationship. That's just common decency, especially someone that is widowy a traitor, stabs you in the back quite literally, and almost kills you. Like, what the frick, dude? The whole time, this dude is, like, egging on this cheating relationship, which is just terrible. I don't ever want to see... I hate it. I hate it when every romance in so many freaking movies and shows, it's all about cheating. And it's all about the romanticizing and the infatuation of cheating. Like, that's not a good thing. That's not something to endorse. And they just kept pushing it in this. And it got to the point where her man was right there, and Isildur just kept making eye contact with her. And I'm like, bro, are you effing kidding me? What is wrong with you guys? Like, honestly, that pissed me off to the max. I'm like, you know she's got a man. You've even seen it, and you're still trying to push it. You're trying to tell her to run away with him? No! What's wrong with you? Oh my god. And she's over here just like, I thought him being kind was love. That's not it. I'm like, so he's just a good guy. He's just a good guy to you, but you're not gonna stay with the man that you've known way longer than Isildur, I'm assuming. But whatever. It's so dumb. Also, what's up with Theo? Like, what are we doing with Theo here? Last time we really saw him was when he escaped the tree trap, if you will, and then nothing. Like, I feel like Theo's gonna join Sauron eventually. I still don't know. Is the sword, like, what's up with the sword he has? I don't recall that. And he's just there. Like, Theo's just there. Like, I felt like they were trying to make Theo a main character, but he's just there. Nothing is happening. I thought he was gonna leave, but I guess he's not gonna leave. I thought Isildur's gonna leave, but I guess he's going back to Numenor. Is he going back to Numenor? What's gonna happen with that? Since Papa... It looks like his dad is not in Numenor anymore. I think he's back to Middle Earth, because I don't call Numenor having grass and trees, but... I don't know, a lot of confusion with that. And then we get to see Galadriel. She's trying to run away. Which, hold on. We see Galadriel escaping or attempting to escape where the siege is happening. To my knowledge, at the end of the last episode, she was gone. So why is she still in the freaking city? Let alone, like, she's not only is she in the city still, she's grabbing people. Like, nothing wrong with saving people, right? But she's still saving people and trying to escape at the same time. I am so confused. You should have been left. You have 9 rings of power that Sauron's looking for in the middle of a siege. You're not supposed to be staying inside the city. You're supposed to be leaving and helping people. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And then she acts like she's the main character of this entire series. And she's over here like, don't kill these chicks. It's me you want. You take me to Adar and I'll give you the rings of power. And I'm like, dude, I don't think they know what the rings of power are. Like, she literally said, I'll give you 9 reasons to why I should say, like, why you should save me. And I'm like, dude, they don't know what you have. They don't know what's happening. All they know is they're here to kill Sauron. So you saying that makes no sense. Also, just real quick, I'm gonna say I called it. I freaking called it so many times in my last video in terms of predictions that Celebrimbor freaking died. And oh my gosh, I was confused for a second that Sauron was actually like friends and actually liked Celebrimbor. Like, I thought it was just a manipulation tactic, but it actually seemed to be true that he liked Celebrimbor and was cool with him. So him killing him kind of hurt a little bit. Man, that whole sequence was so good. I loved their interaction together. And I also called it again because that Ulrich, that orc, freaking betrayed Adar and freaking sided with Sauron. So double called it, guys. My prediction, I'm a freaking clairvoyant. Anyways, that was super cool. The fact that I called it. Sauron gets dubbed the Lord of the Rings. That was, you know, he said the name. He said the title. Anyways, back to Galadriel. She goes to Adar, and Adar's wearing her ring, and he's healed, which I didn't know that those were scars or injuries or whatever. Kind of crazy. And it shows that he is an elf or was an elf, which begs me the question, what are orcs? Are they just corrupted elves? How are they made? What happened to Adar? Like, Adar was literally my favorite character in this whole show, and I had so many questions about his origins and who he was. He was such an intriguing character who had depth, and the fact that he died, and in the way that I freaking called it, again, I'm 3 for 3. He gets betrayed and he's stabbed and killed in the exact same way that Sauron was in the beginning of the season. That's full circle right there. But it actually seemed more like Julius Caesar type of way, where he was like et tu, brute, or whatever, as he's getting stabbed by his brethren, or his kids in this instance. And that scene hurt. That was a good scene, but it was so powerful. Adar's just dying, getting stabbed by his kids, and the one to finish him off was the one that he had as like his like right-hand man, his son, his Brutus. Very Julius Caesar like there, very poetic to how Sauron died in the first episode. And it does bring me to the point of where Galadriel fights Sauron. Sauron was toying with her. Let's be honest, Sauron was toying with her. I don't think he was actually serious about fighting her that entire time, because she was like trying her all against this guy. He's just like dodging her with effortless ease. And the only times that she like got the upper hand was like when she drop kicked him over the ledge, which like he allowed himself to be super wide open, which is not something Sauron would ever do. So I think that's just really bad choreography on their end. And then the other part was when like she's talking to him and eggs him on emotionally, which I'm like, also isn't something Sauron would do. He's not one to fall for emotional manipulation and just give in to his anger like that to the point where he's, you know, losing the advantage. It only lasts for but a mere moments or so, as, you know, he's stabbing Galadriel. And he tells Galadriel to give him the ring, which I thought this was the dumbest thing ever, because he could have just grabbed the ring. She was on the ground. The 9 rings were next to her hand. He grabbed those. Her hand with the ring was right next to it. He could have just grabbed it off of her hand. It didn't make any sense that he had to wait and then tried to use his mind manipulation to tell her to give him the ring, which didn't even work. So I was like, what was the whole point of that? That was the stupidest thing ever. They just made Sauron look dumber. And anyway, she jumps and falls off a cliff. He doesn't even try to like, I know he could just grab her in midair. Like he could freeze her, and he just let her fall to her doom. Quote unquote doom. Every time it made it seem like she was gonna die, it didn't work, because we know she's alive in the main series. In Lord of the Rings, we know she's alive. So trying to tease that she's dying in this show makes no sense. I think that's super dumb. We know she's alive. Like, that's something that you want to do with Arondir. Which, real quick, Arondir's alive? I thought that guy died. He got freaking stabbed by Adar, but Hobie's is freaking alive. I don't know how that happened. That was crazy. I'm so glad Arondir is alive. R.I.P. Adar, though, but I did not expect him to survive just getting stabbed, but he did. I'm all happy for it. Anyways, and then it kind of ends the episode with the elves are in the wood area, which looks to be in the same area that Galadriel was in the original Lord of the Rings series. So I think maybe that's where she's going to start to stay. I don't know. Maybe she starts to stay there to heal and, you know, to gather forces. And I think that'd be fine. Just do not make her a main character anymore. Do not put her out on the battlefield, because she sucks. She over here was talking about how, like, I've killed more orcs than any elf alive. That's bullcrap. I know for a fact, Elrond and the High King and Arondir have killed way more elves, or way more orcs than you. Not even a competition. They were literally in a battle. A huge one. Not sure if you saw that. They keep making me hate Galadriel, and it's so annoying. But anyways, this episode was kind of nuts. There was a lot happening here, yet not a lot happening at once, which was kind of weird. I'd probably rate the episode a good 7 out of 10. Yeah, probably like a 7 out of 10. I would have given it a 6 if we didn't see that beginning sequence with King Durin fighting the Balrog. That was so cool. But what did you guys think of the episode? Please let me know in the comments below. Supposedly the show's got renewed for a 3rd season, so, and I mean, rumor has it it's going to be going for 5 seasons. So we'll just have to see as to how that's going to take place here, or what's going to happen in the next few seasons, because I feel like they're kind of just stretching plot at this point. The only things I could think of is the DURIN political struggle, Gandalf fighting the Dark Wizard, and that changed, and the fall of Numenor. Like, those are the only 3 things I could think of that could be done in like a season. Like, you could do all of those in the season, and then the final season's like the battle, like it's the war against Sauron. But what do I know? I've never read the books. Anyways, I'm Captain Zeus. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.